Welcome, CEO and co-founder of Box, Aaron Levy.
All right. Welcome to BoxWorks. How's everybody doing today? Okay, awesome. Maybe just a quick sign of, maybe we'll make noise on this one. How many folks have been to 3 or more BoxWorks? Okay, great. Okay, 5? 7? Wow. Okay, who are you? That's great. Okay. All right, welcome to BoxWorks 2025. We have some incredibly exciting announcements in store. We've been working, basically, for anybody who's put on a conference before, you sort of know how this works. Conference ends, and then literally like the next Monday, you start planning the next year. And so as we got off stage last year and we thought about what the next year we had in store, we were incredibly excited because we actually had some stuff in the works, even last year, that we couldn't yet share with the world because these are long-running projects and efforts that we're driving. And today, we're incredibly excited to show and really unveil a number of new major updates to our platform that we think are going to be incredibly powerful to transform how you work with your most important unstructured data. At Box, our mission is to power how the world works together. And if you can just get this palpable sense about how much work is changing today. We get the huge honor to be able to work with certainly everybody in this room, but globally, over 120,000 customers. And so we get an incredible purview into what work looks like on an ongoing basis, how it's changing, how it's being shaped within your organizations. We get to work with everything from the fastest growing small startups that are disrupting almost every single industry, all the way to some of the world's largest corporations that have some of the most complex problems that they deal with. And so, first of all, huge thank you to everybody here for coming out to BoxWorks and being a customer. But again, that gives us a lens into what the future looks like. We get this great access into how you are all changing your work every single day. And one thing that we hear from every one of our customers, day in and day out, every time we meet with our customers, is we're at the very beginning of a new journey of what work will look like in the future. And I think we all have this, again, palpable sense that AI is going to transform everything about how we work. And you can really see this ripple through more and more of our workflows over time. I think we all had this sort of ChatGPT moment 2.5, kind of almost now nearly 3 years ago, where we had this instant assistant that you could just talk to about anything. And that was really the first modern, let's say, stage of AI, where you go to the assistant, you ask it a question, it retrieves information from either its knowledge base or the internet and answer that question for you. But now we're in a world where I think we have a better sense of how we now use these AI models and these AI systems to really turn into full agents. And once you have an agent, you can really deploy it at a task. It's not just asking a question and getting an answer back. You can go and say, hey, I want you to code this part of my software application. I want you to go review this piece of data for me. And it will go and do some degree of long-running work. And there's these amazing charts that show up around how actually long-running these agents are becoming, how much you can deploy them in the background and do more work for you. And this is kind of the state of things today and where we're at as an industry. Where we're going, of course, is what happens in a world where you can deploy these agents at scale, where they can be running in the background, where they're not just limited to one small task, but they can actually take on more and more work. And they can even work autonomously, where, again, you give them a set of goals or a set of tasks, and they go off, and they can actually go and automate larger parts of your work. Well, this is going to be a very different world of work. In fact, we're already seeing, again, the signs of this, especially if you talk to smaller companies. Maybe there's some startups in this room that have experienced this, where you actually, in many cases, will have more AI agents in your organization than people. So imagine a future where these agents are running autonomously in the background at scale across an organization. We will have potentially 100 times or more agents in our organization than people. And that's going to be a very different reality of what work looks like and then what we can do as organizations. One thought experiment is just what would happen if any company had instant access to an analyst or a researcher or a domain expert for every employee in that organization. That domain expert could be an expert in legal, in healthcare, in marketing, in finance. And you could tap into that agent at any point, and it could work 1,000 times faster than you. Think about all the use cases that you would go and automate, and that you'd go and bring intelligence to your workflows in. And we're seeing signs of what this looks like already. So on our personal productivity inside of an organization, or individual productivity, we already have a kind of a growing sense of what this could look like. It means that we can instantly review a document. We can get contract analysis of maybe the risky clauses in our industry. We can instantly create a presentation or a document in many cases. We can write code on a project that we're working on. We can bring expertise from the model. So these models are trained on effectively everything on the internet, and increasingly even more private domains as well, where it's tapping into greater expertise. Well, we can bring that expertise to our data. So now you can have an instant expert in law or finance, or even subdomains in those fields. So that drives individual productivity. But back to this idea of what if you could deploy AI agents at scale in the background? Think about the organizational productivity gains that we'll start to get. It would mean that you would get smoother contracting. You can onboard customers much more rapidly. The bottlenecks in our business would start to disappear because you wouldn't be gated by just how many people you threw at any particular problem. We could personalize our marketing in any industry or region or segment that we want to be able to go after. We would get accelerated product development because we could have agents both help with the product specification process, coding process, and even release process if you're in software. But you could bring that to your supply chain and more physical production as well. And then ultimately, you could reduce business risks. Imagine a world where you have agents that are analyzing your data that's coming in, it's understanding your workflows, and starts to identify risks in the business. And you'll see some really interesting examples of what that could look like just in a little bit in the keynote. So this is the power of AI agents in our enterprise. And there's a key distinction that I want everyone to take away and kind of think about, both obviously in this keynote this morning, but throughout the rest of BoxWorks, and ultimately in all of the conversations that we have with our customers. We've long been able to automate workflows and business processes that deal with structured data. So if you think about that slide and you kind of ruminate on the idea of what kind of workflows are we now bringing automation to, we've been able to automate the structured data workflows in our organization. That's the kind of workflow where behind the scenes you have a core object in a database. It's our CRM system, our HR system, our ERP system, maybe a custom application with a database behind the scenes. We've been able to automate that kind of work in the past. And there's way more to do, to be clear, but we've been able to have the technology to make that happen. But it turns out that this is only 10% of the data in our organization. As powerful as these workflows have become, it's only tapping into 10% of the data that we have in the enterprise. Most of the work is actually dealing with all this unstructured information that we work on. So the structured data is just a small fraction of what we work with. Think about the actual work that's happening inside of all of your organizations, no matter what industry you're in. Think about the marketing campaigns that get launched, all of the ideation process, all the creative content, all the photo shoots and production materials that go into that. That's all unstructured. Think about in clinical research and life sciences, all the research data that we operate on, the clinical studies that have to take in forms and medical information. All of that is unstructured. Think about the insurance claims process, where you're working with clients and you have all of this multimedia that you have to go in and take in and then work with the customer on. Or onboarding clients at a bank statements, financial information, the interaction back and forth, all of that is unstructured. And so this is actually the majority of the work that we do in the enterprise. If you just think about look at the amount of hours that go into your organization, no matter what industry you're in, most of the work is happening on unstructured data. And so this represents 90% of the information in our enterprise. So by extension, it really represents about 90% of the work that we're actually doing. And we've never before been able to tap into the value of this data. We have all this incredible intellectual property and knowledge sitting inside of this content that maybe you create, maybe you share, then you store, but you don't go back to. You don't see it again. No new employee can tap into it in the future. So we ask ourselves, well, what if we could actually transform what we could do with all of that unstructured data in our organization? And AI is the big unlock to make that happen. So AI finally lets us tap into all of this data for new insights and the ability to automate almost any workflow in our organization that deals with this unstructured information. So just some examples of what that could look like. Imagine if you could accelerate a product development process by taking all of the product research information that you have, being able to have agents comb through that data to tell you the features that customers want next, or again, risks in the supply chain that you need to be able to eliminate to go and bring new products to market. What if you could take all of the clinical studies in a life sciences organization and be able to tap into them on demand with effectively unlimited hours for agents to go work through that information, to deliver insights, and to be able to move workflows along, especially in the regulatory space? What if you could accelerate the client onboarding process? Take something that today takes weeks or even months in many industries, and you turn it into minutes or hours at most. Because you have agents that can comb through that data, process it, understand it, and move information to the next step. So this is the power of what AI agents can do on our unstructured data at scale in the enterprise. Now, there's a catch, which is that a lot of environments are not yet ready for this type of transformation. If we think about how enterprise data today is stored and managed, in a lot of organizations, and hopefully not many in this room, but certainly generally, data gets fragmented across a large number of environments. It's in legacy storage systems or document management repositories. It's in point solutions that have emerged in the cloud. It's in collaboration environments. All of these tools make sense on their own, but collectively what it means is our data has been fragmented across a wide variety of environments. We've had increased security risks, and in many cases you're spending just a lot on the duplicative storage that goes into these systems. So this has been a problem in the past, and we've talked to customers about this for years, and many organizations have been able to eradicate this problem because it has been a huge pain. But now it's not just a pain. In fact, it's really existential if you think about a world of AI. Imagine if we go back to this world where there's more AI agents than people in an organization. So let's say we have 100 times more agents than people. And you go back to the data fragmentation and the silos and the architecture that many organizations deal with. Well, the first problem that you're going to have that's existential is agents will work with the wrong information. You'll deploy an agent to go automate some workflow or task in the enterprise, and it'll find data that it thinks is correct, but it's from an out-of-date system. It doesn't have the most up-to-date copy because multiple systems are telling that agent that it has the right version. How is an agent supposed to know which copy to go after? What is the real source of truth or authoritative piece of information to work off of? Now, maybe even a bigger problem is if you have permissions or access controls that are out of sync between those systems. Now you go deploy an agent, and you ask it a question, or a user asks it a question, and it goes and finds data that technically you have access to, but you shouldn't. So it's answering questions about underlying data that user shouldn't have access to because it's been hard to keep all of these systems in sync and up to date. And then there's another major existential challenge, which is a lot of these agentic systems won't play nicely together. You want to be able to have AI models be separate from your data, so that way you can choose different AI models in the future because there'll be different tools that end up exceeding the capability level of another tool, and you don't want to have to move all of your data when that happens. So you need interoperability between these systems, which is generally very hard to pull off. And so we believe that enterprises need a completely new approach to how they work with their unstructured data. Really a platform that can connect content to these AI systems in a very secure way. And that's what we're building with the Box platform and intelligent content management. And so everything we do focuses on content at the center of our platform. We have one source of truth for content. There's not multiple file repositories. It's one set of access controls. It's one storage layer. You don't have to worry about having personal storage repositories separate from team sites or external shared sites. It's one system that you can point your applications and functionality to. We then have a layer of capabilities for storage, sharing, collaboration, publishing, workflow automation, and much more. But we put AI right at the center of our platform. We don't think about AI as some afterthought, extended capability. It's right in the core of the Box platform. And then importantly, we connect to all of the applications that our customers use. So anywhere that you want that data to flow, we will connect to that application, whether it's Salesforce and Slack or Microsoft Teams, IBM, ServiceNow, any technology you want content to flow into, we will connect into that system. And then increasingly, customers are building their own no-code applications on Box to power the business use cases that you have that are diverse within all of your organizations. Clinical trial management, contract management, digital asset management. You're going to see some amazing new capabilities in just a few moments that will help power even more of those use cases. So we are incredibly excited about how we are going to take this platform even further. We are just getting started at Box. We believe that the companies that thrive in this AI-first era of work will be those that can fully tap into and take advantage of their unstructured data at scale. And with AI agents on our unstructured data, we can streamline productions, we can accelerate critical missions, we can deliver new products to market even faster. And today, we have some of the biggest announcements we've ever made as a company that will transform how you can bring AI to your content securely at scale. So to share a bit more about the AI platform and lead us into some of our announcements, I'm excited to introduce you to Box's CTO, Ben Koos.
Now introducing Chief Technology Officer at Box, Ben Koos.
Hello. Today I get to talk about our AI platform. So as Aaron mentioned, AI is changing the way that we work. But you have a serious challenge, which is that for AI to be successful, it needs context. And it's just like an employee in your organization. Imagine that you get the smartest employee that you could imagine, joins your company. If they don't have access to your data or to your systems, it's going to be hard for them to be successful. And this is why when we talk to many of our customers, they tell us they don't have an AI challenge. There's many great ways to do AI. They have a data challenge in being able to bring their data to the AI. And for anybody who's sat down and said, maybe they start a project, they say, I can solve these problems myself, they run into a series of challenges. You need to prepare the data. AI requires data to be in certain formats, and there's an awful lot of formats out there. Then you have to start to deal with things like context windows and document chunking. You also have the challenge of finding data to be able to give to the AI. You have to deal with things like vector databases, vector embeddings, doing retrieval augmented generation, doing it in a secure way that's permissions aware. And then accuracy is an ongoing challenge. You don't want your AI to give you answers if they're wrong. You need the AI to give you accurate answers, that you're reliable. And to do that, you need things like eval sets and rubrics. You need AI graders, and you need everything to be customizable and tunable. And while you're doing all this, you need to make sure that if the AI has access to some of your most important sensitive data, it's not going to be a security challenge. You need to make sure it's very compliant with all of your rules and regulations. And today, we're starting to see these new attacks where attackers are actually targeting agents, doing data poisoning, doing prompt injections, so they'll be able to use them to leak data in your organization. And this requires constant vigilance. So if this wasn't challenging enough, you end up in a world where the underlying AI technology continues to evolve and evolve very rapidly. Since our last BoxWorks, 12 months ago, there's been 15 major new model releases. Many of these models are arguably the most impressive, most intelligent, most sophisticated piece of software that's ever been written. So you deserve to take it seriously, see what it does, see its new capabilities. But for many organizations, just keeping track of the version numbers and what they call these models is a challenge. And so for all these reasons, we built our Box AI platform. It is the enterprise-grade way to do AI on your unstructured data. And it all starts with the thing that everybody knows and loves about Box, our content management platform. It gives you unlimited storage, lets you do internal and external collaboration, lets you do things like workflow and metadata, all built on a secure layer. And then on top of that, we add our enterprise-grade AI layer. This is where we give IT control. We make sure you have trusted, safe access to AI on multiple models, making sure that your data won't end up in a training set somewhere when you utilize AI. And then on top of that, we added our content foundation for AI. This is the set of capabilities that you need when dealing with unstructured content for AI. Things like making sure that you have retrieval augmented generation in a secure way that's user permissions aware, in addition to being able to do things like give you model choice. We support all the latest frontier models, GCP's Gemini models, OpenAI's GPT models, Anthropic's Cloud models, Meta's Llama models, and more, all available to you as a configuration in the system. And we take care of all the data prep, all of the configuration to make AI be able to effectively use your data. And then on top of that, we add our agentic layer. This is where you take these capabilities, and then you have agents do more complex tasks using these capabilities. Things like structuring your unstructured data, finding information, searching, researching, doing all of the things for your users, in addition to working in workflows in a customizable way. And it's all these capabilities together that we call our Box AI platform. And these power our application. So when you log into Box, you get access to these kind of capabilities. But they also power integrations, and they also power our platform from the perspective of if you're building a custom application, and any of these challenges we're talking about you faced, you can use our platform via API, via MCP, via A2A, and more. Now, if we dig into one more level of detail about our agents, what are they? What do they do? They're powered by the AI models, these ever-evolving intelligent brains of the agent. But then to get them to accomplish tasks for you, you give them an objective. You tell them, this is the work I want you to do. And then, just like an employee, you give them instructions. You can customize, tell them how to do it, what's the best way in your organization to accomplish this task. And then you give them tools. You give them the ability to access data information to change things so they can actually do their job. But the real power of Box AI agents is that it has access to your context. It has access to your enterprise data in a safe, secure, and customizable way. Now, Box, we specialize in unstructured data, and we do this because it's some of your most valuable data out there. But you have other data in your enterprise. You have data from CRM systems. You have data from HR systems. You have data from structured data systems. And in many cases, you need to use all these together. This is why we work in an agentic ecosystem. No one agent can specialize in all these systems, so our agents work together to be able to provide you the kind of functionality that you need. Now, for the rest of today, we'll be telling you about how we are offering you new foundational AI agents, how you can use them in workflows, how you can use them to solve many security challenges, and use them for interoperability, and more. And all of this is powered by this AI platform with all these capabilities that we just went through. But first, I'd like to welcome to the stage Srinivas from OpenAI, who can talk to us more about OpenAI technology. Srinivas, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Many of our audience members here, they're always concerned about security, governance, to make all the different capabilities to make sure their data is secure. So at OpenAI, can you tell us more about how you guys approach this challenge of security and privacy and governance?
Yeah, we realized that for businesses, trust is the most important requirement, and security is built into the foundation of all of our systems. By default, we do not train on business data through ChatGPT, Enterprise, Teams, or any of our API customers. And that's an absolute commitment. We take it super seriously. And so that's a commitment that we've been honoring for a while. Beyond that, we also have a suite of controls, right? Data residency, observability logging, and zero data retention, configurable retention policies. We have shipped a whole bunch of features, and we're going to continue to raise the boat there. And lastly, what I would say is that we're not just here to build today's compliance standards. We really want to set the benchmark for what AI native privacy and security should be, and that's what we're really aspiring and building towards.
Awesome. So in this world of ever-evolving technology, OpenAI often is on the forefront of these new enhancements. What are the new technology enhancements that are either now or evolving in the future that are the most exciting for you?
Yeah, we are really evolving the interaction paradigm with AI systems to one where we are used to asking questions and getting answers, to one where we are actually setting goals and let the AI do things on our behalf to accomplish our goals. And this is driven by progress in reasoning models, which can think for long periods of time, by progress in multimodality, by progress in basically observability, so you can actually get insight into how the models are thinking and doing, right? A great example is Codex, and it's a product that hopefully most of you have tried it. And you can really use AI now as a system to just ask it to generate code. It can analyze your repository. It can go off, think for a while, and generate PRs for you. And you can spin off multiple of these tasks in parallel. You can start your work at home, kick off 5 tasks, drive to work for an hour, and by the time you come, you have 10 PRs waiting for you to submit, right? And you can also now recently do code reviews as well. So it's just a fundamentally very, very different way of working, where you can amplify your creativity and your thinking 100-fold by agents working on your behalf. And where this is also going is that we're not just going to have a single agent. We're going to have a set of agents that are going to start working with each other and interacting with each other to accomplish even more complex tasks on our behalf. And I think that's just incredibly exciting.
Awesome. Last question. You get to interact with a lot of partners, a lot of customers. Is there anything that was been most interesting recently that you've seen for AI that surprised you?
I think what's surprising is that AI is not just being used as a tool, it's really being used as a teammate. And to give you an example from a consumer land, people really care about the personality of the AI systems we're interacting with. So when we launched GPT-5, it was really eye-opening for us to hear about how deeply personal the interactions and the tone and how the model responds to you were, right? And an analogy, I think, in the business world is that people do want it to operate like a teammate, and it needs you to understand the entire context, and it's not just a tool. Personality matters, personalization matters, and really having access and expertise in the company's internal knowledge really matters, right? And the other ways we have seen companies use is creating what we call GPTs. It's sort of like not as well known in the consumer land, but lots of enterprises are using it. It's a way to create custom versions of ChatGPT to scale your company's internal knowledge and to scale the expertise of teams. And to give you a couple of examples, we have a banking company, BBVA, which is using it for doing risk analysis, right, for customers. We have Genmab, which is a biotech company, which is using it to translate documents from different languages to provide expertise to people in the biotech industry. And lastly, Estee Lauder is using it to do analysis of what customers' sentiments are about perfumes, right? So there's like a fragrance expert that they've created. So it's just like the use cases are so vast, and advice, people are asking it for financial advice, people are asking it for health advice, they're using it as a coach. So it's just incredibly exciting to see all the variety of uses.
Sounds awesome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you,
everyone.
Please welcome VP of Product Management at Box, Yashoda Bhavnani.
Ben just showed us how the Box AI platform is powering a fundamental shift in the way that we work. And we are leveraging this platform to deliver AI agents that are useful, secure, and tailored to your unique business. Box provides a set of foundational agents that can help you with your everyday productivity. They can also help every single employee in the enterprise. These agents are designed to help you with your routine tasks, whether that's understanding or finding an answer from your content, generating a report, or digging through and extracting insights from a complex 93-page lease agreement. These agents can orchestrate. They can work together to do complex, multi-step tasks. These agents can plan. They can reason across your content and your context. They can double-check their work using reflection. And the best part, they are securely connected to your content in Box. Let's walk through two of these agents. The search agent. The Box AI search agent fundamentally changes the way that you find answers from your content. You can now do a natural language search query, and the Box AI search agent uses the latest search technology under the hood to understand what are the relevant files for this question. It then ranks and reasons over those files to find you the most relevant answer. In short, if you think about this, instead of having to do multiple searches, then find the files, then look through and understand where's my answer, this all happens in one simple step. Sometimes you need to dig a bit deeper into your content. You want to really understand or analyze it. For example, if you had multiple strategy reports and you wanted to understand the nuances, the challenges, glean opportunities from it, you can now use the Box AI research agent. It's like your own personal researcher that works with your content and across your content in Box. It can compare across files. It can analyze files. And in this scenario, if I wanted to produce a summary report, I could upload a template or even an outline to this research agent, and it could generate it in that format, just saving you so much time. I'd love to show you how these foundational agents work in action in our new BoxAI Agentic experience. And for that, let's invite Julia to stage to show us a quick demo.
Thanks, Yash. For this demo, I'll be playing the role of a wealth advisor at a financial services company. I have quarterly meetings coming up next week with 5 of my clients, where I'll need to present an overview of how their investments performed, an update on global market conditions and its impact on their performance, and suggestions for how we can rebalance their portfolio, all while meeting the client's financial goals. In order to prepare, I usually have to review account statements, search for economic research that applies to my client's portfolio, look through client notes where I tracked my client's financial goals, and then considering all of those findings, I'll read through our approved product list so I can determine which investments to recommend for next quarter. It always takes such a long time to prep for these meetings, but this time I have BoxAI to help. With BoxAI and the foundation agents, I can ask AI to create a quarterly meeting prep doc that highlights the client's quarterly performance and how it was impacted by economic conditions, and also suggests investments for next quarter that are aligned with the client's financial goals. And I can upload a quarterly meeting prep template for the agent to use as a framework for creating this report. Before executing, BoxAI plans how to tackle this task. So as you can see right now, BoxAI is analyzing my request, determining what files it needs to find, and planning which of the foundation agents to utilize to complete this task. So first, the search agent is finding applicable files and ranking them by relevance. Next, the research agent interprets that information. Now, it takes a few minutes for the research agent to complete this task. So let me show you a quarterly meeting prep doc that I generated earlier today. So I'll just go to my previous sessions and pull it up. So per my instructions, the research agent read across all the relevant client files and firm-specific documents, pulled out the information I needed, and generated a quarterly meeting prep doc, turning my unstructured data in Box into actionable intelligence. And I can continue to refine this document live, inserting in my ideas or asking AI to add additional information. So I just asked AI to include some suggestions for creating a college fund for my client's child. And since BoxAI saves my session history, I can even come back later and make additional changes to the prep doc, and AI will be able to reference everything we've discussed so far. Great, so I see that AI added that college fund section to my prep doc. So as the next step here, I'm gonna save it as a Box note. And because this stays in Box, it's secure, permissions aware, and I can immediately share it with my internal team without emailing sensitive data. My team of BoxAI agents quickly handled what used to take me hours of manual work. Now I have time to think about more innovative investment opportunities that I can suggest in the meeting. Instead of just preparing the requirements for this quarterly meeting, I'm walking in ready to deliver more value than ever. Back to you, Yash.
Thanks, Julia. Wasn't that just incredible? While you saw an example that was for finance, these foundational agents can work across every industry sector. Not only every industry sector, they can work for every single employee in the enterprise. And if you think about the magnitude about that, what you really get to is an enterprise that can innovate faster, that can ship products faster, and essentially, this drives enterprise growth. Every day, we hear from our customers that building custom agents is just critical to their unique businesses. This is why we already provide Box AI Studio as a framework for you to build custom agents. You can set custom instructions, choose a state-of-the-art model, and have it connected to your content in Box. We also know the best agents have the best context. And this context comes from knowledge. And this knowledge can be in the form of spreadsheets, reports, meeting notes, presentation, all of your content that is in Box. And now you can use this bespoke knowledge true to your enterprise, that is unique to your enterprise, to create custom agents. And this is why we believe at Box we are well positioned to deliver the most effective agent building platform powered by your content. And this is also why we are doubling down on Box AI Studio as an agent builder. Just yesterday, a customer asked me, how do you build the most effective enterprise agent? It's a bit like asking, how do you take an expert and arm them with the knowledge, the content, all the things that are unique to your enterprise so they can be truly effective? Again, the best agents have context, and this context comes from your content in Box. And now, customers using Box AI Studio can attach a file, a folder, or even an entire hub worth of content to a custom agent. Not only this, we want to make agent building seamless and intuitive for everyone in the enterprise. And for this, we will soon be providing a guided agent building experience so that you can really set the right custom instructions. Let's walk through a bit of an example. Here at Box, we have very unique compliance procedures and policies. In fact, most enterprises have unique compliance procedures that are bespoke to that enterprise. Today, I'm going to start by creating a compliance agent for Box. I start by going to Box AI Studio. I then pick the state-of-the-art model from the list of models that Box provides that is right for this use case. I then set custom instructions. And finally, I attach compliance policies and procedures from a hub with over 5,000 files to this agent. This agent doesn't just search over this content. It uses retrieval augmented generation to find the exact right chunks of data, information to answer your prompt. Next, I can just go to a document, and I can ask, what are the risks associated with this document? The compliance agent can give me a quick answer that is accurate and, most importantly, grounded on the content and the procedures from my hub. Next, I go to our new Box AI full-screen agentic experience. I pick the compliance agent. And here, I'm just going to ask it, what are the key changes that have happened in the policies and compliance procedures? Instead of me having to go through multiple files and decipher what those changes were, the compliance agent gives me a comprehensive answer that is true and tailored to my enterprise. This is effectively when AI goes from experimental to enterprise value. And with that, I want to also welcome and talk about something I'm really excited about, which is our partnership with Google Cloud. But before I get into that, I'd love to talk about how customers are already building these agents. Marks Ogzubo is a leading architectural consulting firm. And they have a monthly reoccurring challenge. Every month, they receive 90-plus page reports that are packed with technical details, structural reports, and they need to glean. What are the next steps from this? Instead of doing this manually, they decided to build a materials testing agent using BoxAI Studio. This is not only saving them hours and hours of time, it's also freeing up their experts for higher value work. And the best part is now, with this agent, they can go to market faster. They can drive higher velocity. And this essentially leads to growth. And now, let's welcome Chavi to stage from Google Cloud to talk a little bit more about our partnership.
Hello.
So good to have you.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. I hope you're enjoying BoxWorks.
I am. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into it, which is we know that for AI to be a game changer, it needs to understand the files, the content, the documents around the enterprise. So Chavi, what's the secret sauce to making this happen?
Yeah, so, I mean, agents are all the rave. We're all talking about them and building them, and we know that they're going to revolutionize how we work. However, as you were saying, agents without context are nothing, right? We need to provide the context of the enterprise, and that actually is when understanding the content and parsing it and providing it in a form that can be digested by the agents is essential. I mean, I think that's the key aspect of making agents work, not only in the enterprise, but in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you touched a bit upon Agentforce and how powerful agents come through in Agentforce.
Yep.
I'd love to ask you, how do we connect these agents back into Box, where the content lives?
Yeah, so great. And we've been having a lot of collaborations between Google and Box. And just let me illustrate, like, a way this could work is like, if you're working, for example, in agent space in Google Cloud, and you're creating an agent with our agent development kit, right? That enables you to create an agent. But then the interesting thing is that you can connect agents to agents. And in fact, we've been working together on using the A2A, agent-to-agent protocol. And you can have an agent that connects to the Box agent and then integrates to sort of like different connections in your enterprise. I think that's where the magic happens, when you have sort of like that ecosystem of agents that, as we've heard, sort of like at some point might be even bigger than your sort of like human workforce, and will be parsing and sort of like talking to each other and connecting. That's when I think that's going to be sort of like very efficient and very effective.
I fully agree with just the power of agents connecting and integrating and talking to each other. It's huge. Chavi, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I'd like to leave you with 3 takeaways. First, you can apply these foundational agents that Box provides for your routine work every single day to really drive that productivity across every single person in your enterprise. Next, you can adopt the search and the research agents to really dive into your content that lives in Box, whether that's finding an answer, generating a report, or researching and analyzing across your content. And finally, you can use BoxAI Studio to customize agents and power them with the unique knowledge that is in your content that lives in Box. All of these agents come together to also fuel efficiencies through workflows. And with that, I'd like to introduce the next section. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Box VP Product Management, Kailash Kumar.
You know, we've now seen the power of AI agents. Let's dive into how we use these agents to extract context and information from your content. You know, content comes in many shapes and forms. For example, your legal might have commercial leases with hundreds of pages of legalese. They'd want to know the terms and conditions in there. Your marketing team might be running ad campaigns, and they want to ensure that the look and feel, the color palette is on brand. You might have scanned documents with tables, forms, images, handwriting annotations that confirm shipments. Or in specific industries, you might have, take lending, for example, extracting customer information speeds up loan processing, thus driving a higher loan volume. Such documents have an enormous amount of critical business information trapped in them. And accessing that information is the key to unlocking productivity at scale. And imagine being able to reap all these benefits across all file types and the millions of documents. Your mission-critical processes need highly accurate data extraction that is both reliable and consistent. And to deliver on that, I'm incredibly excited to announce BoxExtract. BoxExtract simplifies data extraction at scale to get your content AI ready. Now, you're already using our extract agents. With BoxExtract, you now get a simple-to-use, easy interface to set up and manage all your extraction processes. With BoxExtract, you can customize our extraction agents to maximize accuracy on your specific content. You can then centrally manage these processes and deploy them at scale on a wide variety of content. And you get all the AI tools that are necessary to get reliable and consistent outcomes every single time. Now, at the core, we use agentic reasoning to pull out data and information from documents, using both our standard and enhanced extract agents. We then use advanced techniques to ensure that you get reliable and consistent outcomes every time. This enables you to do everything from extract data from simple text documents, or infer information from long, complex documents, all the way to working with your multimodal assets like images. Let's dive into a few examples. Extract pulls out information from this document and then uses advanced techniques. For example, with semantic reasoning, it's able to determine the clauses in the agreement. Now, this termination clause is typically implied, but not explicitly written. With iterative reasoning, it's able to make judgment-based recommendations such that you can assess the risk levels on contract terms. With long, complex documents, we build a document graph that enables such things as tracking the multiple parties and the various obligations throughout all the documents. And with chain of thought reasoning, we can calculate and derive information such that you can take the start date and the contract duration and determine the end date of the contract. Going back to our shipment example, advanced OCR allows us to extract the table, handwriting, form information. And BoxExtract works equally well with images and multimodal assets. For example, letting you know that the logo is current and the color usage is on brand. Enough of me. I'd like to welcome Julia on stage to show the power of BoxExtract. Julia?
For this demo, I'll be playing the role of a contract manager for a large retailer. Our team receives hundreds of thousands of vendor contracts for all the different brands that sell merchandise at our stores. We needed a smarter way to extract data from these contracts so that we can manage them effectively. That's where Box comes in. To get started, we'll create a new custom extract agent to automatically capture key data from our vendor contracts. A challenge with these contracts is that since they're created by other companies, each one can be quite different in formatting and content. Take end date, for example. Some of our vendors clearly state an end date in their contracts, while others don't. Fortunately, I can solve this by giving BoxExtract custom instructions that if end date isn't explicitly mentioned, calculate it by combining the start date with the contract duration, and check the terms and conditions for any additional information. Since these vendor contracts can be long and complex to parse, I'm going to use the enhanced extract agent because it leverages powerful models and can handle more advanced data extraction jobs. And as the final step of this configuration, I'll specify which folders this extract agent will act on. OK, let's see this extract agent in action. So first, I'm going to upload a new vendor contract into this intake folder. Great, and as you can see, the box extract agent that we just set up has already extracted the necessary information. I can click on each field, and it highlights where it pulled the data from. These pointers are extremely useful if quick verification is needed. Now, this particular contract didn't explicitly call out an end date or a start date. But since we provided box extract with custom instructions, it's able to use logical reasoning to figure it out. So first, it read the terms and conditions, which state that the contract starts one day after it's signed. Then it calculated the end date by adding the contract duration of 60 days to that start date. And in the off chance that the extract agent isn't sure if it got the data right, it indicates that with a confidence score. So here it flagged the amount due field because it wasn't sure if it should be in dollars or euros. And if a response ever needs to be corrected, the agent takes that as input and self-corrects future extractions. So now that I've extracted data from my vendor contracts, I can use it to analyze them. That's where Box Apps comes in. Box Apps are customizable, require no coding, and give my team a data-rich view into all our critical documents so we can make better decisions. Let's switch personas here. So now I'm a regional manager for this large retailer. It's my job to monitor vendor contracts, ensuring that my stores have the right inventory to meet customer demand. So my IT team created a vendor contracts app, allowing me to easily manage all the contracts in my Box account from one place. And perfect timing, because I've noticed that sales for home fitness gadgets have been declining in our California stores. I need to find all active contracts with vendors that supply our California stores with products in the home fitness category. Box Apps makes that so easy. My vendor app has a chart right here that categorizes contracts by status. So I'm just gonna click on this bar chart to filter to active contracts, and then I can sort from there. However, Box AI allows me to take it a step further. Instead of filtering, I can simply ask AI to show me vendors that ship home fitness items to California. Great, here we go. I found 15 contracts that fit that criteria. Now I'm wondering, do any of these contracts have terms that will allow me to cancel or renegotiate my order quantity? Rather than go through each contract one by one and read all the policy terms, I'll just ask my contract analysis AI agent. Do any of these contracts allow for cancellation or reduction in quantity? So our company created this custom agent to read and interpret vendor contract terms. This agent analyzes the contracts in this view and reports back that, 3 out of the 15 have favorable terms that will allow me to reduce the order. Right from here, I can securely share these contracts with the vendor manager who handles contract negotiation. As you've seen, Box Apps and Box Extract transform how you work with content, helping you extract valuable insights and manage key processes to accelerate your business. Back over to you, KK.
Customers are getting incredible outcomes already. Valmark Financial, for example, uses Box Extract with their complex insurance policies, and they now extract over 250,000 data points as compared to 4,000 previously. That's a 60 times more context and insight on their content. A leading healthcare provider uses Box Extract to process their claim documents with images, complex tables. They now do 30,000 documents a day. That's over 10 million documents per year. And an investment firm was going through an audit and needed to get key information from the client documents, and they processed 3.8 million pages over a weekend. And it's not just customers who love Box Extract. I'm incredibly excited to announce that we're extending our partnership with DataBank. DataBank is a leading provider of process automation and data solutions, and they process over 1 billion records a year. And they'll be using Box Extract to power their new paper-to-digital technology. Let's switch gears to enterprise workflows. What happens when you want to use this extracted information to make a decision? What if you want to power a process? or use agentic agents in part of your workflows. We are now in the era of agentic workflows, and your content, AI, and teams need to work together. It's no surprise enterprises are fundamentally rethinking how work gets done with AI. That's because for the first time ever, it's possible for agents to automate a vast array of complex processes. Take loan processing, for example. It's a complex, multi-party, cross-functional process, lots of documents, a very high need for accuracy. I imagine many of you applied for a loan. Wow, no one. You fill out an application form, you gather your documents, you submit them, you might get an email back saying, hey, you need to submit more documents. What goes on behind the scenes is somebody is verifying that information that you submitted to ensure that all required documentation is there. Then it goes through a parallel process. It might be the credit department, the finance department, the risk department. They make their assessments and they make a recommendation. The loan officer looks at all that, compares to the risk criteria, the guidelines, make a decision. This process ends up being effort intensive, it's time consuming, and it's error prone. Let alone that consumers don't want to wait this long for these decisions. The expectations are very different now. Let's take one step in the process, the risk and review process. The loan officer will go through all the documents that were submitted, pull out the information, put it into a system. They would then take the information, compare to the criteria that they have as a company, and make a recommendation. How might this work with BoxAI? A customized BoxAI extract agent could comb through all the documents that were submitted for each case, extract the information, and make it available to the loan officer. In this case, completely automating a very manual, tedious task. And the risk assessment agent could take that information, compare to all the risk criteria, the guidelines that the company has, and offer an assessment, thus augmenting the work of the loan officer. So all of a sudden, you go from a process that was days, maybe even weeks long, to one that is hours or minutes. And that was just one step in one process. Imagine applying that throughout the whole process. Now, you might be wondering, I'm not a loan officer. We're not a financial services company. So let's do this. Let's take out some of the loan-specific information from this process. What you see now is content coming in, going through a number of steps, and AI making the whole process faster, better, and more efficient. And there are many, many such processes in an organization. Case management, financial reporting, onboarding, field operations, contract management. How do you design and execute these agentic workflows? With Box Automate, I'm incredibly excited to announce our new solution for agentic workflow automation built natively in Box. It automates all your content-based processes across your teams and agents. With Box Automate, you can orchestrate your work across agents and teams with a very easy-to-use and intuitive drag-and-drop builder. And based on your feedback, we've built the underlying workflow engine from the ground up to ensure that it can meet your complex needs. With the ability to customize agents, you can provide that critical context to your agents such that you can get the reliable and consistent outcomes every single time. And no matter where your work is happening, whether it's fully in Box or within your other applications, you can always extend your workflows. This is how we reimagine workflows for the AI-first future. And to talk more about it and show you the in action, Julia, take it away.
Thanks, KK. For this demo, we'll be using the loan processing workflow that KK just walked through. I'll be playing the role of a manager who oversees a team of loan officers. My team spends most of their time reviewing loan applications and all the supporting documentation to determine which ones to approve. But I didn't hire them to read through mountains of paperwork. I hired them to make smart decisions. I know AI agents can help. Let's see how I can use Box Automate to optimize this entire process from application to approval. So I'll start from a blank slate and drag in the first step, a form trigger. Next up, I'll add a document verification agent that ensures all the required information is in the submitted documents. I'm also going to add in some branching, so the next 3 tasks will occur simultaneously. So there's a risk assessment agent that helps loan officers determine if the application meets our company's risk thresholds. Finally, I added some typical workflow actions, like assigning tasks to my loan officers to complete the credit and finance reviews, along with steps for doc generation and e-signature. This is how easy it is to create workflows with Box Automate. And these workflows combine custom AI agents with Box's powerful content collaboration features without requiring any coding or help from IT to set up. Now that I've built the workflow, let's dive into the risk review and approval step that you saw before. So earlier, I created this custom risk assessment agent to read through the loan application and submitted documents like bank statements and pay stubs, and use it to calculate key metrics like debt-to-income ratio. Also, I supplied the agent with our company's risk evaluation guidelines document, which outlines the acceptable ranges for these metrics. Given this information, I asked the agent to deliver a risk evaluation of low, medium, or high. Since this data ultimately determines the offer and terms of the loan, I built in a human-in-the-loop review to ensure that the agent's recommendation is double-checked by a loan officer before a final decision is made. Let's see what this review step looks like when a loan is being processed. So Ray, one of the loan officers on my team, just got a task from Box. A new loan application is ready for review. He clicks through the task and sees the agent's risk evaluation as low, along with the key data points it calculated. He also has the complete application package and extracted data all in one view, so he can verify it as needed. These ratios look good, and so does the credit score. Having reviewed the application, Ray agrees with the agent's evaluation, and he approves it. So as you can see, Box AI agents and Automate have revolutionized my team's operations by handling the document processing, analysis, and assessment in accordance with our company's guidelines. And this doesn't just happen once. Every time a loan application is submitted, my team of AI agents is there to lend a helping hand. Thank you for laughing at that. As a manager, it's important for me to have a complete view of all the loans that my team is working on. That's where Box Apps comes in. Using my loan management app, I can quickly find answers to questions like, how many loans are in process currently? Have loans hit any bottlenecks? What does the workload look like across the team? Box Apps makes it easy to monitor all the documents as they progress through the Box Automate workflow that I built. Box Automate plus apps transformed our loan operations, empowering teams with agentic workflows. Now that my loan officers are not bogged down by paperwork, we're able to process more loans and make faster decisions for our customers. Back to you, KK.
Thanks, Julia. You just saw 2 demos of the apps being built with Box Apps that we launched earlier this year. Box Apps is our intelligent, no-code app builder that allows you to build all apps for process automation. It brings together your content, your metadata, your users, and now agents. Let's see this in action with some of our customers. Here's an app that a marketing team built to manage all their marketing assets, images, videos, and stock photos. They use this to provide up-to-date, on-brand content to the field. They curate the assets with AI. They have a publishing workflow after that to approve the assets. And finally, all these assets are available to everyone through an easy-to-use search interface. Not only did they retire a point solution, they now have a fully integrated way to manage their assets on Box. It's a property management app that manages all the leases for a real estate company. They use box extract to pull out critical critical terms from the leases. They then have a process to approve the exceptions. And finally, a place to manage all the leases in one place. With this app, they were able to retire a contract management app, which was creating security and compliance silos for them. Now, I'd like to leave you with 3 key takeaways. 1, box extracts allows you to use structured data at scale with unparalleled accuracy. With Box Automate, you can reimagine your workflows for the agentic first future. And with Box Apps, you can manage process automation with AI. Thank you.
Please welcome VP of Product Management at Box, Manoj Asnani.
Now, those were some amazing workflow automation announcements. Now, as you've been hearing, we're integrating AI into all parts of our content platform. And as you can guess, that also includes security and governance. Now, we at Box have been working hard to be the most secure and trusted platform for your critical content. With our products such as Box Shield and Box Governance, we've delivered capabilities to secure and govern your content through its full life cycle. And most recently, we've announced products such as Content Recovery and Box Archive. But as we all know, security is a moving target. The speed and scale at which the content is growing is exponential. And add to that, the threats only continue to get more and more sophisticated. This is keeping resource-constrained security teams a step behind with this evolving threat landscape. And breach to their organizations can cost them millions of dollars apart from the reputational damage. Fortunately, Box AI and agents can help. Box AI can help them significantly increase their reach and knowledge and supercharge their capacity to protect all the content they need to protect. With Box AI now, we can drive a much deeper understanding of the content, understand its sensitivity, and therefore its security needs. With Box AI, we can also now help security operations teams see and respond to threats much quicker. We're going to use Box AI to protect content better and empower the security operations teams. With that, I'm thrilled to announce Box Shield Pro. Box Shield Pro is our suite of agentic security solutions that's going to help organizations stay up with this evolving threat landscape and also navigate this AI-powered world. Box Shield Pro has 3 key capabilities. It has a classification agent, which helps organizations classify and secure content better than ever before, increase the reach of content they can classify and secure. It has a threat analysis agent, which helps SecOps teams see, understand, and respond to threats quicker than ever before. And has a ransomware activity detection tool, which protects the organizations from the threat of ransomware. Box Shield Pro is in active beta right now, and it's going to be available as a general option in the coming months. Let's first talk about the classification agent. Now, classification is nothing new to us. We've been helping classify customers' content using PII and keywords for quite some time now. And we do this at scale. Our customers have classified more than 7 billion files using these capabilities. That's billions with a B. Now, with BoxAI, though, we're taking a much bigger leap in terms of the amount they can classify and also the depth of understanding they can have around their content and therefore secure it better. Now, to do a good job of classifying content, you really need to make sure you understand what the meaning of the content is and what its value to the organization is. Let's take an example of a technical architecture document. This document has deep technical details, but more importantly, it also has non-public IP for the company. Therefore, it's highly sensitive. But it has no obvious PII to work off of. Or let's take an example of an M&A proposal document. This document has a specific target name and has potential valuations and deal terms. Again, highly sensitive, but no obvious information that you can work off of. Now, you can't use traditional tools to drive this deeper and nuanced level of understanding of sensitivity of these documents. And manual processes obviously don't scale. What you need is a solution that deeply understands what the content is about and takes a context-driven approach to solve this problem. This is exactly what a classification agent does. A classification agent looks through the document, understands what it's about, its topic. It looks at the context around it, who's authored it, who's collaborating with it. It assesses its potential leakage impact, and then comes up with a sensitivity and assigns an appropriate classification label. In this case, for example, the technical architecture document is an internal document, so it gets an internal tag. The M&A proposal document is confidential because it's highly sensitive and should only be accessed by a few set of people. These labels then carry a robust set of security and governance controls downstream. Controls such as smart access policies that define who can do what with this content and prevent any accidental or malicious leakage. Governance controls such as retention and disposition policies, or even things such as watermarking to signal the sensitivity of this document to the end users. A classification agent is our solution to these complex content security challenges. With easy-to-author, customizable prompts, security teams now can classify and secure the content more and better than ever before. But that's enough for me talking about it. Let's see it in action. Over to you, Julia.
Thanks, Manoj. Today, we'll take a look at how a manufacturing company called Agentic leverages the classification agent to enhance their security posture. Agentic designs tech products and uses their Box account to store sensitive information about their widgets. A product manager is about to upload documents into their Box account related to their product, Atlas. Now, some of these documents are technical papers explaining the inner workings of the Atlas cutting-edge design, and some are just how-to guides that can be distributed publicly. Can you tell which is which? Yeah, whoever created these files did not use helpful file names. How can Agentic ensure that the sensitive technical papers aren't leaked externally? Well, fortunately, Agentic uses Box Shield classifications and access policies to protect sensitive content. However, they can't always rely on end users to add the proper security classifications to content. And since technical papers don't always contain the same keywords, they're difficult to automatically find and classify. This is a challenging nuance for most classification tools to understand. But with the classification agent, the security admin can write classification policies in natural language, describing exactly what types of documents the tool needs to classify. AI classification is perfect for this sort of challenge because it relies on more than keywords and specific identifiers. It inspects the context of the document based on custom criteria to determine the correct classification. So the security admin at Agentic wants technical papers to be classified with the confidential label. So they type out that documents classified as confidential should include engineering designs and technical documents. But these product designs aren't the only documents that Initech considers confidential. They also don't want to leak documents with PII, financial data, or information about mergers and acquisitions. The security admin is able to define all these prompts and test the behavior before enabling them. Simply by defining what confidential means to them, Initech is able to monitor a large surface area of their organization's unstructured data, more effectively labeling and protecting it from security threats. With the new policy in place, now when the end user uploads these documents into Box, the technical papers are automatically detected and labeled as confidential. Importantly, Box captures audit details, including the rationale for the classification decision and when the classification action happened. In this case, this technical paper was given the confidential label, meaning the document now carries the associated security controls. It can't be downloaded or shared externally. As you can see, the classification agent intelligently finds and classifies confidential information across your Box account. Instead of solely relying on the presence of keywords or identifiers, the classification agent uses custom instructions to protect sensitive information based on real context, allowing companies to protect what matters most without slowing the business down. Back to you, Manoj.
Awesome. Wow. It was amazing to see. Thanks, Julia. And our customers agree. Our customers, such as County of Santa Barbara Office of Public Defenders, see significant value in deploying this agent. And our early beta customers who've been using this agent have been able to classify 10 times more content than before. Now, classification is just one part. Let's also look at how we're using Box AI to help security operations teams. Now, we all know the SecOps teams are dealing with a number of alerts on an ongoing basis. So much so that they have to deal with 1.3 million alerts on average per year. That's a massive number. And these alerts require filtering, prioritization, analysis, investigation to be able to respond. And because of time constraints, these teams now have to make really hard trade-offs. That's the problem we're going to solve for them using our threat analysis agent. Our threat analysis agent filters and surfaces threats that teams should really pay attention to. But more importantly, it takes these large detail-filled alerts, refines them down to really easy-to-understand summaries, surfacing crucial context so that they can speed up response and remediation of these threats. Now, classification and threat analysis is only the beginning. We will continue to improve the state of content security by delivering new agents and innovations. Agents to potentially automate response, but more importantly, innovations to secure the use of AI and agents in your organizations, to make sure that the agents play by the rules and policies of your enterprise and address some of the security concerns that Ben alluded to earlier. From building new agents to securing the use of AI and agents in your organizations, we remain committed to staying the most secure and trusted platform for your critical content. Few quick takeaways before we move on. Our AI classification agent helps customers classify and protect more content than ever before. Our threat analysis agents help SecOps teams expedite the response and threat response. And our ransomware activity detection tool protects organizations from productivity loss due to ransomware activity. With all these agents and innovations, we are supercharging the already robust content security capabilities to deliver the best security outcomes for all of you. Thank you.
Now introducing Chief Product Officer at Box, Diego Dugatkin.
All right. Well, I'm so proud of all the innovation that we've seen today. Everything we have been building together is super exciting to see how much the teams have been putting together for you. But everything we have announced, everything we build, isn't just for use within Box. It's designed for true interoperability. It's intended to connect and power the work you do across your entire tech stack. And you know, that is because we know that the most important thing is to connect your most valuable content to the applications you use everywhere. And for that reason, we have built Box as an open platform with rich APIs and a wide integration across your whole ecosystem to make Box the secure, intelligent content layer that is managed from one central platform. It's because you have important unstructured content that continues to grow, but at the same time, there is a myriad of agents that are appearing that as third party or that you're building that depend on that content. They need access to that content to operate properly. And you don't want to replicate the content for every one of the applications or every one of the agents. You need an intelligent, secure platform that allows you to control who gets access to what, and that would give you the access to the content they need to operate with that context. For that reason, a month ago, we released the general availability of the Box MCP server. This remote MCP server, you can think of it as a single secure bridge that connects all that content with the external agents that basically need to operate with that information as context. That's because instead of building complex integrations, you want to have that MCP server that standardizes how agents connect to that enterprise knowledge. And that unlocks a myriad of possibilities for your teams to operate in the tools they already work on. They may be working with Claude, with Microsoft Copilot Studio, with Salesforce Agentforce, and many others. But you want to make sure that as they work in those tools, they can access always the content they need. For example, your marketing team might be working on the next marketing brief, but they may want to use the last 10 campaigns as context and leverage that for the creation that then once create the new content can go directly onto Box. Or you could have your R&D team use the product documentation, but use it directly from the applications they're already running without having to leave, having all that content in Box. That's because we have a deep commitment to a truly open ecosystem. We believe that basically your entire technology stack should work as one intelligent, cohesive unit. Now, through today, we've been looking into the foundation and the incredible new capabilities that are coming together. Because basically, you want that platform that powers the critical workflows that run all your applications from one central place. To make that happen, I want to invite to the stage Amit Zaveri, President, CPO, and CEO at ServiceNow, to talk about how we integrate different systems. All right. Well, Amit, it's such an honor, it's such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. Hello, BoxWorks.
Well, yeah, bravo, yes. Thank you, Amit. You know, the connection between the two companies is really important because basically we build a partnership that fuels innovation. But the same way that you don't want to have basically one single piece of software run your entire company, you don't want to have also one agent do everything. Sure. Most likely would be multiple agents working together. How can we see that in the partnership that we're building to benefit all our joint customers that we have here?
No, for sure, as you mentioned, Diego, I think every company today has multiple systems, and you don't want to operate them in silos. And we used to integrate them in various custom ways with APIs and other things like that. I think as you look at in the future, a lot of the specialized applications and capabilities require their AI agents as well. And you need to be able to interoperate between them. When you create a business process, they are going to be connecting various systems together. And with those AI agents, they need to work and talk to each other so you can finish the business process in a much more effective way for our customers. So there will be multiple AI agents, and they have to interoperate, they have to work, and they have to collaborate to make the outcome better for our customers. So that's going to be the future, and I think that's what we've been working together on, and it's great to have the collaboration with Box as well.
That's exactly right. So now, Box provides that context. In which ways ServiceNow agents and the ServiceNow implementations of your portfolio can leverage the context that Box basically come provide?
Yeah, so I think at ServiceNow, I mean, we are basically bringing together AI with workflow and data together, right? And when we talk about workflow, that requires connectivity between various different AI agents and different systems so that you can create a business process which can be dynamically delivering value to our customers. So when we talk about specific workflows, like employee onboarding, for example, employee onboarding requires some of the work to be done inside ServiceNow workflow, but then a lot of the processing for data and content might come from Box. So be able to understand the context of a particular employee who you're onboarding and getting relevant documents understood as you connect those systems together in a workflow environment, we would be able to use Box as kind of the part of the whole workflow process as well. So that's the kind of expectations we have as we build out this dynamic workflows using AI and agentic frameworks.
Great. Well, if we think a little bit about the future and where things are going, what do you think the future of agentic workflows and agents in general is for all of us in the industry?
I think this agentic, making it much more intelligent in terms of understanding context is going to be very critical, right? So understanding user intent and then orchestrating that, understanding the user intent, breaking it down to various tasks and orchestrating that pieces of tasks by different AI agents and bringing the full outcome back to the user is really the kind of the future we are looking towards today. And second thing I think is around security. Every customer I speak to today is worried about security, compliance, trust. How do you do regulatory, how do you deliver against regulatory requirement? So be able to understand all what AI agents are doing or AI systems are doing inside their environment is going to be important to kind of bring together in some central way as well. So something we delivered at ServiceNow is AI Control Tower, which interoperates and brings information together between different vendors as well as different AI agents into one centralized environment is something which we think is going to be the future required as well.
Well, this is great. Well, thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. See you. Well, thank you, Amit. It's wonderful to continue to grow our partnership between Box and ServiceNow to really bring the vision of a fully integrated ecosystem. Now, ServiceNow is one of our partners. We work with many others. Next, let's talk a little bit about how Slalom and Salesforce together have been working on unlocking further value through a demo that basically Slalom put together that connects Box and Agentforce. For that, we'll invite Julia back to the stage.
Thanks, Diego. Meet Katie, a busy sales executive who manages highly strategic accounts and struggles to find the time to properly prepare for all her meetings and execute on deliverables. In this demo, we'll see how Box, working together with Salesforce's Agentforce, helps Katie accelerate her prep time and automate sales proposal creation, giving her more time to focus on what truly matters, building relationships and adding value for her clients. Many Box customers work with system integrators and partners to create unique, innovative, custom solutions like this one that connect all of their applications. For this demo, you'll see a solution that Slalom built, powered by Box's Content Cloud and APIs. So back to Katie, the sales executive. She just returned from vacation and noticed a meeting on her calendar with a customer trail tripper. They are ready to review their sales proposal. This is great news, but Katie's still in vacation mode. She needs a refresher on Trail Tripper, and she hasn't even created their sales proposal yet. Katie's team does leverage the Box and Salesforce integration, so all of Trail Tripper's past proposals, status reports, and account documents are nicely organized in a Box folder that's associated with the record. But this meeting starts in 30 minutes, and Katie needs answers fast. So she asks Agentforce, "Get me up to speed on the Trail Tripper account." This triggers an Agentforce action that calls the Box AI API, feeding Katie's prompt directly to Box. It intelligently searches across the Box content linked to the Salesforce record, including meeting notes, the annual report, the last sales presentation, and it does this while respecting all of Katie's existing user permissions in Box, guaranteeing that Katie can only query content that she explicitly has access to. Agentforce leverages Box AI multi-doc capabilities to search across all of these documents, find and then summarize the customer's key milestones, blockers, and expectations for the sales proposal, along with a summary of the Trail Tripper account. The agent also asked Katie if she would like to update the Trail Tripper Salesforce record fields with the key milestones and blockers. This is incredible. Katie usually has to set aside 2 hours every Friday morning just to update her Salesforce records. Now she can use that time to talk to customers instead. So she responds, yes, update the account with this information. AI then populates the key milestones and blockers fields in Salesforce with a summary of the findings from the documents stored in Box. Now that we're up to date on the account, it's time to create the sales proposal. So again, Katie asks Agentforce, can you draft me a proposal based on the info we have in the Box documents? Agentforce leverages the Box DocGen API to create this document, pulling the relevant Salesforce fields into the sales proposal DocGen template. This new proposal is generated and automatically saved back into Trail Tripper's Box folder, alongside the other critical account documents. So to finalize the deal, Katie sends a sales proposal for signature using Box Sign directly from within Salesforce. Once this document is signed, the executed agreement is saved to the Trail Tripper folder in Box, and the sales stage is updated within Salesforce. By adding AI on top of Box and Salesforce, your unstructured Box content and structured Salesforce data now work together, letting you summarize accounts, populate data in Salesforce, generate proposals, and supercharge your sales productivity. And this is just one example. Box can integrate with thousands of applications across your tech stack, meeting you where you work and allowing you to securely access, collaborate on, and use AI to ask questions about your Box content from any tool. Back to you, Diego.
Well, thank you, Julia. This was great. I love this. It increases productivity for everybody. But you know, our focus has always been to basically make Box the intelligent content layer that fuels your entire AI strategy, solving for what matters most, context. This agent needs that context to truly operate, and Box delivers that context to all your agents and workflows by doing that in 3 key ways. First, we fuel the AI agents with the unstructured data they need to operate. Second, for example, through the MCP server that we talked about a moment ago, we basically reduce the development that you would need to make and the need for your teams to upload sensitive files to each one of the applications or for each one of the agents to use. And third, we partner with the best SIs to create any specific customization or implementations that you need. So no matter where you build, where you work, Box provides that secure, intelligent foundation that you need to do your work the best way. So no matter where you operate, you want to have that integration of the content and the ecosystem in a secure, controlled fashion. Next, we're going to see how we use all of this within Box and how our customers basically implement this, making Box always be the secure, intelligent content layer. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Chief Operating Officer at Box, Olivia Nottabaum.
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to see you all today. Thank you for joining us. Here at Box, we are on a journey to become an AI-first company. And that is not only about how we build the products, but it's actually how we run our business, the processes we do, and how we can get leverage from AI. Now, of course, we want to make sure to anchor all of that AI-first approach in a set of AI principles. The first is that AI is a capability expander. So what do we mean by that? It's that Boxers are doing all of the great work they used to do, but now they can do even more. They can innovate more. They can span all of those capabilities. The second is that it's a partnership. If there's AI involved, there's always a human in the loop. So if there's a need to make a decision, an approval, the human is still taking that step, and we make sure that that's ongoing in how we approach it. The third is that we're AI native in our design. So we take a clean slate and we think about, okay, given all that we know about our AI capabilities of Box AI, how would we design this if we were designing it from scratch? And fourth, it's all about those key elements of privacy, security, trust, and governance. That ensures that we are employing it in a safe and secure way. And finally, you've heard a lot about unstructured data today. We treat our unstructured data as a true strategic asset. Now, we're lucky. We have all of our unstructured data on Box, and we know that this is an asset that truly can power the way we work. Now, you heard earlier from Aaron about there is this maturity curve that we think about when we think about AI. The first stage is, hey, I'm going to ask it a simple question. The second is, OK, I'm going to now use AI to do a specific task. And then that third stage is, you know what, I'm going to run an entire enterprise process using agents within a workflow end to end. So let's take a peek about how we do this at Box. So again, stage one, you ask a query, you get a dependable answer. OK. We found that we were having this problem every single day with our customer success team. We had over 10,000 questions coming in from all of you customers, which is great. We want those questions. And we want to be able to answer you quickly and dependably and correctly. And so what often was happening was our customer success managers were looking at product articles, looking into old chats, looking into old emails to try to pull out the answer to many of these questions that they actually knew had already been answered. We knew there was a better way. So what did the team do? The team actually created a customer support hub. They leveraged APIs to pull in all of those customer support articles. They also uploaded even more Box-specific content. And they leverage Box AI. So now, when a customer has a query, our customer success team goes in, queries the hub, gets a dependable answer fast and correctly, and gets it right back out to a customer. And the most important thing is that 50% of these questions are now getting answered in a self-serve way. And so what does that mean? That means that our customer success team can spend all that time now with customers working on their business problems, not just answering those questions. OK, now let's look at stage two. Now, if you remember, stage two is when you're leveraging AI to do a specific task on your behalf. Well, we had a different problem in our organization, which was our reps were spending so much time preparing meetings with all of you, which is great. We want them to be prepared for those meetings. We want to make sure that they know all about your company, all about your role, the business needs of your organization, and then how it matches into the value proposition of Box. How can we help solve your business problems? But they were spending a lot of time doing this. So we decided that we would re-architect this from the beginning. So what did we do? We created a research agent that is now out there, able to be leveraged by any of the reps. It's been trained on all of the Box information, so Box content. And when a rep wants to go meet with a customer, they go in and they talk to the discovery agent, and they get a full response about what it is that they should know about that company. Then they turn to the agent on messaging, which is our messaging agent, and they say, OK, how would I think about if I were to do outreach to this customer or prospect? What would be the highlights that I would mention to really pull through how Box can help solve their business problems? This has saved them a tremendous amount of time. They're clocking at having almost 5 hours back per week. And that time is then better able to spend with all of you and doing all of the things that we want them to be doing, not just doing the research, but more deeply understanding the problem and help trying to deliver business impact for all of you. OK, so stage three. Stage three, again, is a process, right, where we're able to leverage AI for an end-to-end workflow. And here we had a particular problem, which is all of these SOWs that come in. So we get over 1,000 SOWs, and it's quite a manual process, actually, right? You go, you figure out what are the questions that are being asked, and you try to make sure you have the right answer, all of the right people are involved. And so we thought, you know what, there's got to be a better way with Box AI. And the team built out a completely streamlined way of creating SOWs. First, they created a metadata extraction template to capture the right fields like scope, language, deliverables. Then they connected that to DocGen to actually create the response for that SOW. And then they sent it out for signature, right? Just one entire workflow. Now, we abide by our AI principles, so there was a human in the loop, and they were checking to make sure that the SOW response that was going out made sense, was correct, all of that. But that was an example where our team now was able to leverage this complete end-to-end process on Box AI. And what did that mean? That SOW response took them 35% less time, which means they were able to take that time and spend it on implementation for customers like all of you. All right, so those are just some examples about being AI first and Box on Box. And if you'd like to hear more, please join us.